Hi, I'm Chad, and you're watching Squarebody Stuff. What's going on, everybody? We are still plugging away on the little 339 stroker build. If you're new to this channel, don't know what we're doing with this. This is a 305 block, board 60 over, with a 3.75 inch stroke, which is a 400 or 383 stroke crank in it, which makes it a 339. So what we're going to do is try to find the volume of the cylinder, or the volume of the valve reliefs and the reliefs I've got cut into the block, because the piston company, DSS Racing, says that these pistons, the valve reliefs in them are plus 5 cc's. They're flat top pistons other than that, and I'm at 0 deck, so really effectively should only have 5 cc's of volume on this to put into a compression ratio calculator. But as you can see, I've got these cutouts that I've machined or cut into the top of the block that I need to find out what the volume of those are to get a more of an accurate reading on my volume here, so I can accurately calculate or accurately put the numbers into a calculator for the compression ratio of this engine. And it's pretty much the same as CCing and head. I think I've got a video of that, how I CC cylinder heads. This would be pretty much the same thing, other than you need to seal up the ring with something. I'm just going to use some assembly lube and put around the cylinder, bring the piston up. Hopefully that'll seal it off enough to get a pretty close, accurate-ish reading of the volume of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some grease or assembly lube around this, bring it up so it'll hopefully seal that ring. I've got this piston stop set at 1/4 of an inch. That way my piston will stop at 1/4 of an inch below the top of the deck. And remember, this is 0 deck, so I don't have any volume above that as far as the piston in block. And I can then I can calculate the volume of a 1/4 inch tall or 1/4 inch height cylinder by the diameter, which is 3.7975, I believe. I'll do the ratio or the calculation there, in whatever that calculation is for that cylinder. Whatever cc's I'm over is what my valve reliefs and these reliefs are. I hope that makes sense. It's hard to kind of explain. Alright, now I've got my plexiglass or Lexan sealed up. I'll put my tube in. I just use a 100 cc syringe, so I don't have a barrette or anything fancy, but this will get us close. Okay, so we are, see, there's 100, it'll be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 52 cc's. All right, now that mess is kind of cleaned up, I've got my stuff wrote down here. We had 52 cc's roughly, I mean plus or minus a little bit of volume there, and the 46.4 cc's is the volume of a cylinder that is 1/4 inch by 3 point, let's see what it is, yeah, I just punched it in a calculator. So 1/4 inch tall, 3.7975 is the diameter. It does the calculation for you. You put it cubic centimeters, or cubic, yeah. So you got 46.4. and subtract that, you got 5.6 cc's. So if we're close, the cc's on this cylinder with the valve reliefs and the reliefs cut in the block should be, I'm going to call it 6, just to round it up, err on the side of caution. And the compression ratio is just going to be a really close guess, but it's better than just assuming. I'm putting a little bit of effort into it. So we'll do the compression ratio calculator real quick, and I just used the Summit one. They've got a pretty good one that's easy. It's got all the stuff you just punch in, and it gives you your compression ratio. Alright, so I'm not fancy and be able to do this on the laptop and show you everything, so I'm just going to do it this way. Bore is 3.7975, and it's inches. Stroke 3.75. Cylinder head volume is 64. Dome volume, and this is what we were just calculating, trying to figure out. Use minus for dome if you had a pop-up, or plus for dish. So we're going to put positive 6, because we had 5.6 over here. I'm just going to round up to 6. Deck clearance, we have a 0 deck clearance. Our head gasket thickness is 0.040. Oops, fat fingered it there. And we have 8 cylinders. So push calculate. It is saying 9.97 to 1, 339.79 cubic inches of displacement. So it's really a 340, but we'll call it 339 because we don't want to confuse the Mopar guys. They get a little sensitive about this stuff. So even if, okay, let's say, I like to play around with this stuff just to see. Even if my combustion chamber ended up at 65 cc's, I do have some cleaning up to do. Let's recalculate that. Alright, we're still at 9.8. And if my volume is a little off on the cylinder, let's say, I mean, I rounded up to 6. Let's go ahead and go to 7. Let's see how much of a difference that makes. We're still at 9.75. So we're over 9.5 to 1 compression. That should be good for a power adder type engine. I don't want to run a huge amount of compression with this thing. I want it to be perfectly streetable and not have issues with you know, tuning and stuff, because the higher compression you get, the more precise you have to be on your tuning. And yeah, so we're gonna be roughly between 9.5 to 10 to 1 compression. That's close enough for me. That's where I was wanting to be. Quit taking all my shop rags and stuff. Yeah, they're a pain, but I love him. Now that's about one of the last things I need to check on this. I am ready to clean the camshaft up and get the short block tidied up. Get the camshaft in, timing set on, timing cover on, oil pan on. This will be done. All I gotta do is do some work to the heads, get them on there, do a little bit of work to the intake, and get that on there, and we might hear this thing run in the not so distant future. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I hope you learned something. Like I said, this is a little bit shorter and simpler. I didn't go through exactly what I used to check the CC, and it's the same thing as I do the cylinder heads. It's just a little bit different because I had to make sure I sealed up the ring. Other than that, it's pretty much the same as CC and head. Go check out that video. But we've got our compression ratio pretty well figured out, plus or minus a little bit on this thing. I'm not worried about getting it nailed down to the T. I was just wanting to be over 9 to 1. Now originally, when I ordered these flat top pistons, the cylinder heads I was gonna use were 58 cc combustion chambers. They were the, I think, 128 casting tune port Corvette heads from the 80s. I think they were 87 castings. They were 194, 150 valves and smaller intake runners. They were going to be okay. They were aluminum, but I ended up with getting a good deal on these Speedmaster heads. They're way better than I had. They're not the best there is out there. I understand that, but still kind of on a budget here. We're just playing around, having fun. But these cylinder heads had the 64 cc combustion chamber, so that dropped my compression down. But I'm still over 9.5 to 1. I'm happy with that. It's gonna be a nice street motor when I'm not running nitrous, and whenever I go to the track, I'm gonna have a little leeway with the compression. It's gonna be a little more forgiving with a little bit lower compression. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, hit that join button, and become a member. You can donate to what we're doing around here, help us out there. Yeah, give us a like, share, and all the subscribes and all that good stuff. So till next time, y'all keep your square bodies rolling. We'll catch you later.